Hey guys, I'm going to do a little something different for you for my Throwback Thursday. Instead of writing about something, today I'm going to actually physically show you my Pokemon card collection. Because it's cool, everybody has one, whether you wanted to admit it or not, or at least had one growing up. Me, I actually kept all mine, or most of mine. But anyway, this is just my binder of the first 151 Pokemon. My binder, I like to actually keep the actual card cases themselves, or card packets themselves. These ones came from Japan, you can see. But the reason why I got them, my dad used to work really closely with some Japanese businessmen or anything like that with his job, and he would often have pretty good connections with them and get some good, awesome Pokemon cards from that. But all I'm really going to do is I'm just going to go through some of these. I don't want to take too long with it because it gets kind of boring, I know. So there are going to be some that I'm going to show more of. Others I'm just going to point out, kind of stuff like that. But I have some cards that are actually really cool, really worth it. And some of them that are just the basic cards. Kind of like, Bulbasaur up there, nothing big. Ivysaur, nothing big as well. Venusaur, I have the original one. Again, in focus. I have the original Venusaur, but I also have this Venusaur as well. Pretty cool holographics on those ones. Same with Charmander. Just got the original one of that. Got Charmeleon, but I also have Japanese Charmeleon, but also a dark Charmeleon, which is pretty cool because I have one of the most coveted cards, which is the Charizard. Remember how rare that was trying to get growing up. Only reason why I have it is because my dad was awesome enough to go ahead and just buy it for me when I was a kid. Guess I was cheating, but whatever, I have Charizard. But I also have Dark Charizard. I remember I got this at 7-Eleven with Jordan one day. I don't know if it was after school or anything like that, but it was pretty cool. Then we got Squirtle up here, nothing big. Wartortle, also got a dark Wartortle right behind him. And then Blastoise. This either came from my sister Lauren or Sarah, I forgot. For the longest time I didn't actually have a Blastoise, but I also have a dark Blastoise too. A little bit more epic looking. So we got that. And in here, Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree. With Butterfree I also have that version, and then also a holographic version of that one. We got Weedle, Kakuna, we got Beedrill, 3 of them. If anybody wants any Beedrills, just let me know. Here's a second edition one. A Pidgey, nothing big, just a bird. I used to have an American Pidgeotto, but for some reason I lost it, but there's a Japanese Pidgeotto. And then the holographic Pidgeot, whatever. I got Rattata, who was my first Pokemon card. I actually got that from a friend in Horizon Middle School, Matt Mueller. So thanks, Matt, you got me hooked on this. But I have that actual card because it was all dented up and kind of old and everything. I have that somewhere else, but for now it's just regular Rattata. And then Raticate. I got Spearow, and actually I always try to keep it consistent between the two, like the regular form, the evolved form. So here I have like Lieutenant Surge's Spearow, if we can get it. But I also have a regular Spearow, and then another Lieutenant Surge's Spearow. But I do that because one of the only Fearows I have, Lieutenant Surge, and then I have the other Fearow. But whereas this one is just uncommon, Lieutenant Surge's Fearow is one holographic, so it's a lot more pretty, and it's rare. So I like to show that off. Sorry about that, my batteries died. Left off with Fearow. Now we come down to Ekans, which in here I have the Team Rocket Ekans and then also the original, fossil edition Ekans. But I have the Rocket Ekans because I have the Dark Arbok, which in this case is holographic. Sorry, I make it focus. There we go. But yeah, the Dark Arbok, which is holographic, as opposed to the Fossil Arbok that I have, which again, in the case of Firo, this one is uncommon. This one is rare. And then we get up to the main event of any Pokemon, which is Pikachu. I always like to just kind of have it off with this one, because one, this is the Pikachu that was in fruition while I actually got into Pokemon. So when I think of Pikachu, I think of this card right here. The other ones I have are this Pikachu. It's a promotion. I honestly forgot where I got it from. It may have been a trade. But I have that one. I also have this Pikachu, which I honestly forgot where I got this one too. Can tell it's kind of new. I'm pretty sure this may have been maybe a second gen Pokemon. I don't know. Got this one. Focus. There we go. But this one again is a promo, and again I have no idea where I got these things. It's been a little while. But I do know that, with my Lieutenant Surge Pokemon, my Lieutenant Surge Pikachu I should say. Then also this is the promo. I know where I got this one from. This is from when we saw the first movie in theaters. We got a Pikachu card, and we could also get a Mewtwo card. And I'll get to that one when we get there, but this one's always been actually really cool for me too. I just like the way it's drawn. It's a good card overall, but like I said, I usually keep to this Pikachu here. And I actually got one more Pikachu card that I'll show you at the end. At the end, I usually keep all my special cards that don't really fit in here but have a good place for me. But I'll get to that one too. But now the very underrated evolution of Pikachu, which is Raichu. This one here, the original holographic. I also have the holographic Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, which I always thought was actually really, really cool. But I also have this Raichu, Japanese obviously, and again from a thing there. I also have this other Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, which has always interested me because one, it does 100 damage. No other Raichu does that much. And at the very bottom here, if it'll actually focus, there's no marker to tell whether it's rare or not. Whereas everything else has a marker to determine that. This one does not. And for the life of me, I could not remember where I got this. I just know it's a little more beaten up. So it may have just been obviously in a trade, but I have no idea where I got it other than that. Then we come down here to Sandshrew, typical little rock mouse. Then we got his evolution form, Sandslash. We got Nidorian, who looks like a guinea pig. Nidorina, or Nidorina, I don't know how to pronounce it to be honest. Then we come up here to its evolutionary form, which is Nidoqueen, or Nidoqueen. I call it Nidoqueen, her Nidoqueen. And then Nidorian male, and then Nidorino, and then Nidoking. Pull that one out too. This is a good old-fashioned holographic card. Plus he's actually really, really good, especially in the games itself. Now I also do have a Clefairy, holographic Clefairy. And then I also have this other Clefairy, which, now looking on it, the double star, I'm pretty sure it's the second gen because this actually looks a lot more familiar. Like I said, it's been a long time. I'm pretty tired myself, but I still wanted to make this. I was actually kind of excited. I thought about it at work today about doing this video. And then we come to the evolutionary form of that Clefairy to a Clefable, which for some reason is not holographic, but this one is. But I know that this one actually came in the Heart Gold, Soul Silver card packets. And you can just tell by the layout of the cards. I mean, it's so different. I think this one is a lot more basic looking, where this one just looks very technical, like it's got more stuff going on. Like stage 3, you know. Anyway, we go on to here. We got our Vulpix. We got Ninetales. Really, really good in the games, especially your fire lovers out there. Holographic. We got Jigglypuff, the Justin Bieber of the Pokemon world. And then Erica's Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff doing jiggly stuff. Then we got Wigglytuff. Not holographic, but evolutionary rare form. I'm sorry about the focus of... there we go. Do the wave. Yeah. It's like prom night. There we go. We got Zubat, and just like in the video game, I have tons. These are just the 3 that I decided to put in there. But I literally have about like 40 of these. God. But, got that. I got his evolutionary form, Golbat. I got Oddish, Gloom, and then Vileplume. Special shout out to you, Jordan. Vileplume. This one focuses. I have a dark Vileplume, holographic. Now, I don't know if a lot of people remember, a lot of people made a huge deal about these swirl holographics. I remember a lot of people saying that if it had the swirl, it was worth a lot more. I don't know if that was true or not, but I have a good amount that have that swirl. I just always thought it was pretty cool. But usually I have the holographics out to display. But like I said, I'm one of those, like, I try to keep it in, like consistent with the actual card itself. So like these are obviously like CGI made, like it looks 3D, whereas everything else looks hand drawn. So does Oddish and Gloom. So I just have to stick with that. It's just the way I do things. Then we got Paris, and then Parasect, Venonat, and then his evolutionary form Venomoth. And I actually come back to something later to show you guys, because right off the bat, do these two look at all similar? No. No, they do not. But like I said, I'll come back to that. We come to Diglett. What's underneath here is a mystery, but if you go on the internet, you'll find out. Just, not really. But then Dugtrio. Forgot if I actually have a holographic one. I don't think so. No. Dugtrio, and then Dark Dugtrio. Of course, the Team Rocket Dugtrio is the one that's busting into your house and kidnapping your wife and breaking your stuff, stealing your lunch money. And we got Meowth. His evolutionary form, Persian. You have Psyduck. That was always my sister's favorite Pokemon, was Psyduck, because he always got headaches, and she got headaches too, and it was just really funny. Then we got Golduck, his evolutionary form. I believe I have another one. Yeah, just a regular, just like a Japanese version of him. We got Mankey, the Mankey Monkey. Got his evolutionary form, Primeape. I have Growlithe, but and then Arcanine, his evolutionary form. But like I said, I like the consistency between these two. Like if they're evolutionary, I want them to look the same, be the same. Otherwise, I would put, another Growlithe, and there's another Japanese one. But all I have of him right now in this one is Japanese. I got Arcanine, and I believe more of him. I have a holographic Arcanine. And I also have Poliwag. I have Poliwhirl, And Poliwrath. Remember when I was a kid, I actually inherited this in a trade. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I don't know why. Because I think it was probably one of my first holographic cards. But we got Abra. When I was a kid, I thought Abra was awesome. After playing in the games, yeah, I don't like him very much because he always flees. We got Kadabra, and then his evolutionary form, Alakazam. Again, holographic. Neato, holding his spoons. Chow down on some cereal. We got Machop, Machoke, and probably, no, actually, this is my first holographic because this was a lot of people's first holographic. This is the Machamp that came with the starter deck for the cards. Focus, you punk. Yeah, but this came with the starter deck for Pokemon. A lot of people got this because, I mean, this is a lot of people's first rare holographic. And also, I mean, he's a good, like, when you actually play the game, he's a good, usable Pokemon. The Seismic Toss actually does quite wonders, the first edition on there, so I always thought that was pretty awesome. I got my Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, Victory Bell. I have my Tentacool, the Zubats of the ocean, and then Tentacruel. And I got Geodude. Seem to have a lot of different versions of him. I also have Brock's Geodude, and then a Japanese Geodude, and then Graveler, and Golem. I actually remember getting this Golem at Walmart with my dad. Just bought me a pack randomly, and I got him. No idea who he is, but even now, kind of different on there. We go down to the next one is Ponyta and Rapidash. These are my sister's favorites because she's huge into horses, and who doesn't like a horse that's on fire? But these were always really cool. And we got Slowpoke up top, and we got Slowbro, and then Dark Slowbro. Oh no, man, he went evil. There's the swirl again. But yeah, Dark Slowbro. If you can see in the holograph, there's a rocket grunt in the back. So that was kind of funny. But Dark Slowbro. You notice how he went from like, "Duh, you happy here," and then all of a sudden he's all like, "I'm gonna break your face." Man, chill down, chill out, Slowbro. We got Magnemite on the bottom here, which evolves into Magneton. Probably you're going to hear my phone in the background. I'm not going to answer it right now. But Magneton, holographic. Lieutenant Surge's Magneton. And then Dark Magneton with like a shadowy rocket. Hurt you in your sleep kind of thing. They're all rares. I remember using either one of these. I forgot which one it was that I used. But I used it a lot when I actually played the games and went against different people. It was a lot of fun, actually. I actually kind of miss that a lot. We also have Farfetch'd. He was a bird with a stick. Actually, no, it was a sprig of green onions. So he was carrying around green onions with him the whole time. Doduo! Bird with two heads. His evolutionary form, Dodrio. And we got Seal. Not the singer guy, but the seal with a little horn on his head. His evolutionary form, Dewgong. Then we got Grimer up top. Then we got Muck, his evolutionary form. It's hard to tell, but this one's a holographic version of it. And then I also have Dark Muck. I have a lot of dark Pokemon. I don't know. Then we got Shelder. Then his evolutionary form, Cloyster. Now I have Ghastly. And then I also have Haunter, which I think I have multiple versions of Haunter. It's original here. Actually, technically, this is the one that I wanted to show because this is a holographic Haunter from the fossil set. And then Sabrina's Haunter. Does a little bit more damage fight-wise when you're actually using it, but ultimately that was the one to go with. And then Gengar. Now Gengar is a personal favorite of mine when I play the game. It's also Sabrina's Gengar. But he's a personal favorite of mine to use during the game because I always like to do Hypnosis and then Dream Eater. It dealt a lot, and then it also disabled the opponent's Pokemon. Just a good combination to use. And then we have Onix, the rock Pokemon. We also have Drowsy, and then his evolutionary form, Hypno. Now I know that there's one in here. I remember a while ago being at a convention with my dad. May have been my mom and dad, but they had Pokemon cards for sale, and as a gift my dad got me this one. It's a Japanese holographic Hypno from the Rocket set. I always just thought it was really cool. It's one of those very pristine looking holographic cards, but otherwise I have two other Hypnos. And then below Hypno is Krabby. There's the Crab. And then Kingler, who likes to pinch. Pinch. And then we got Voltorb and Electrode. I remember Electrode was actually the first rare Pokemon I got in a packet. Just buying the packet on its own. Open it up, my first rare was Electrode. Followed by like a few dozen other Electrodes. Electrode and Beedrill were always extremely common, rare cards, so I always had a ton of them. And we go down here to Execute, who's actually been, recently, it's been voted the most forgetful Pokemon. Like, when people think of Pokemon, the last Pokemon they think of is Execute, which is just a bunch of eggs. I don't know, maybe they can give you Salmonella. That should be their Hypnosis Leech Seed. Underneath there should be Salmonella. And then Executor, his evolutionary form, which is just a pineapple with heads of eggs. Always kind of interesting that he evolved to that. Underneath down here is Cubone, who's always been my favorite because, I don't know, just a cute little guy. But at the same time, you got to feel bad for him because his mom has always been dead, and that's his mom's skull. And I know a lot of you out there have probably heard of the missing number Pokemon in the games. And there have been a lot of theories of what the missing number is. And I just remember a lot, pretty much people discovering that the missing number is Cubone without the skull. So pretty much, and what Cubone is Kangaskhan, which we'll come to here in a minute. That's its baby. So Cubone is Kangaskhan's baby. And but I guess at the last minute they scrapped it. I don't really know much to it, but pretty much the missing number is Kangaskhan's baby, which is Cubone without the skull. At least that's what I've seen. That's what I've heard with it. But his evolutionary form, which I don't know, kind of defeats the purpose of that whole last part, is Marowak. And we got Hitmonlee, which is a Pokemon based off of Bruce Lee. He's the kicking Pokemon. Obviously the holographic. And then right under him, his counterpart, Hitmonchan, based off of Jackie Chan, the punching Pokemon. Underneath is Lickitung, Licky. And then we have Coughing, which I've been doing all week. So I'm sorry for the constant sniffling and my voice sounding kind of off because I'm like I said earlier, I'm just getting over a cold. Then we have Wheezing, this is evolutionary. We have Rhyhorn, just looks like a little rhino made out of rocks. Rhydon, his evolutionary form. We have Chansey. Now, for the longest time, I had a Chansey that was completely scratched up, like way bad. Like it looks like some kid just took some scissors and just. I have no idea what happened to it. And all of a sudden I have this super nice Chansey card. Now I know, Chanseys are magical. Maybe I had a magical Chansey. I don't know. But I just remember I always was blown away that the fact that a Chansey has 120 health points is the same as Charizard. And it did huge amount of damage. So like this beast right here, this guy will ruin your day. You just think like, oh man, it's just a Chansey. It's just like, nope. So I don't know. I always thought it was kind of funny. And then underneath is Tangela, which is, when you wake up and you have a bad hair day, this guy who lives in your hair. And then this is the Kangaskhan that I just mentioned about with missing no. See, when it de-blurs, that little baby in there, I guess, was originally supposed to be. That's what Cubone looks like without the skull. But at the same time, that's obviously not true because Kangaskhan's baby has little black eyes, whereas Cubone does not. But at the same time, Kangaskhan doesn't. I guess it's really weird, kind of different how that's all been worked out. But I don't know. If you wanted to read more about it, definitely go online and do that yourself. And we got Horsey, a little seahorse Pokemon. We have Seadra. I have two versions of Seadra. I got this one here, and then also Misty's Seadra, which actually, I don't know if anybody out there did this, but places like there's a swirly there. Places like Media Play before it was run into the ground, or Toys R Us would have promotions in their store, and then they would also have an actual Pokemon League where you would go there, you'd have your stack full of cards, you would play against other people. Every time you would win, you would get 2 stamps in a little booklet. Every time you would lose, you'd still get 1 stamp. Once you reached a certain amount of stamps, you would actually get a promotional card. So like this one was one of those. I actually got this from Media Play. And then when you reach another amount of stamps, you would actually get a badge. It was just a little like this big. I only ever got the first 2 badges, which, like Brock and Misty. I always forget what those badges are called. Like one of them was like the Boulder badge, and the other one, I guess, I don't know, the water badge. It looked like a water drop. But I only ever got those 2. After that, it was like a ridiculous amount of stamps needed. You'd have to play like 20 kids a day for a week just to get it. It was pretty ridiculous, but those cards were definitely worth it. And then this one you got Goldeen. It's a fish. And then Sea King, because, a fish. That's Staryu, which is Patrick on AIDS, or I guess AIDS. Yeah, sure, why not AIDS? I was going to say steroids, but AIDS. And then Starmie, his evolutionary form. I also have a holographic Starmie. And then underneath, one of the creepiest Pokemon to have existed is Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime. Holographic, just kind of there. He always reminded me, if anybody remembers Candyland, for some reason he reminds me of the little clown thingy in Candyland. So every time I see him, I want to play Candyland. Then I got Sabrina's Mr. Mime, and it always kind of weirded me out because it looks like we just walked in on like Mr. Mime doing something totally wrong. Like he's got the face of like, whoa, wait, whoa, and he's holding up his hand. I don't know, it's kind of funny. But there's that. We got Scyther. The Pokemon with wings that in the game you cannot fly. So, just like your average guy at a anime convention who wears wings, he just cannot fly. And we got this one as well. I always thought this one was just cooler looking anyway. We got Jinx up top. We got Electabuzz. I forgot if I have any other cooler cards of him. Which I do. A holographic Lieutenant Surge's Electabuzz. And then also this one is a promotion as well. And this was for the first movie too. Wow, I totally forgot about that. Well, there you go. First movie, you get an Electabuzz as well. You know, because there's so much Electabuzz in the first movie, right? And then down here, we have Magmar. Sad looking Magmar. He's just like, do you want to hang out? No? No. Alright. We got Pinsir, which is another, like, holographic, kind of almost a badass of the Pokemon world, but again, no one really ever thinks of Pinsir. Kind of looks like those leech aliens from Dreamcatcher. You know, the long ones that have the teeth kind of like that. I just kind of thought of that. Underneath is Tauros, the bull, with 3 tails. And I always thought the thing on his head was always like a monocle. So he was like a fancy sir of a bull. Like he was just like, I'm a beat your ass, sir. But then I realized he wasn't. We have Magikarp, the retarded Pokemon. We got Gyarados, the evolved form of that retarded Pokemon, to come beat you up because they called it a retarded Pokemon. This is a holographic version of him. I also have a couple other versions. This is the pre-release, the same as the Seadra that I told you about. This is another one that you can get from that league. You can see with the pre-release. And then Misty's Gyarados. I always thought that looked a lot more menacing than that, even though it's really the same exact thing. And this one just looks dopey, like but anyway. Then we come to a Lapras. And then Ditto. I always thought Ditto was actually really cool for some reason. He's just a blob. I used to have a holographic Ditto. I have no idea what happened to it, but then I have this holographic Ditto. A little bit of a circle. Probably doesn't count as a swirl. But then we have Eevee, who, again, this is from, there's a swirl there. It was one of those evolving swirls. But I got this from Toys R Us. They were just giving it away one week. You didn't have to do anything special. They just gave it away. I always thought it was actually really cool. Otherwise, I just have other versions of Eevee. But I like to show this one because it's holographic. I don't have any other of his holographic evolutions, or at least regular ones. But Vaporeon, if you use a Water Stone on Eevee. You got Jolteon, if you use a Lightning or Thunderstone on Eevee. And then Flareon, even though it was Dark Flareon, and then another Japanese version of Flareon. Again, I used to have a regular Flareon. I have no idea what happened to it. We got Porygon, the CGI Pokemon that is aware of it. And we have Sabrina's Porygon, and then just another Porygon just hanging out in a box, kind of like an abused child. We got Ammonite, the fossil. See, I always got confused with this as a kid because of that. Now, when you play the Pokemon game, you always have to evolve from something. In this one, you have to evolve from fossils. So stage 1 is a fossil, and then you can evolve into Ammonite, which there's, I guess, 2 versions, water, and then this one's a rock version, but that was a later date. But nonetheless, has to evolve from the fossil itself. And then his evolutionary form, Amistar. And then with the fossil itself, you can evolve it into Ammonite or Kabuto, whatever. We got that in there. And then my favorite fossil, because he just looks like such a badass. Sorry about that, hit the limit on my last recording, but got Kabuto, and then his evolutionary form is this badass right here, Kabutops. He's always my favorite fossil because he looks really cool to me. I always thought he just looked awesome. And then I also have this other form of him, water form. I guess stats wise he's a little bit better. Attack wise, could go either way, but nonetheless, I always thought he was really cool. And then another form of the fossil that you can use it for is Aerodactyl holographic. So it's just outright just not really, kind of a dragon, more of just a flying lizard. But got that. Snorlax, my man, loves to sleep, just like me. Even though, I mean, Body Slam is 30 damage, but thick skinned is definitely a good thing to have. I would say, I mean, I played the game quite a lot, and so when I see these cards, it's not just like, oh, collecting it. It's also, oh, how useful can he be when I actually play somebody? Very, very useful. Feel bad because this one's not in the best condition, but I've had worse. Now, this is the one part that I'm ashamed of, because I have, normally right here would be Articuno, the legendary bird of ice bird, but I made a deck so I could play Jordan in Pokemon not that long ago, and then I moved up here to Denver, and I have no idea where it is now. It's somewhere, but I don't know. So for the time being, I just put that place marker there. One day I'll find you. But continuing on, we got Zapdos, the legendary bird of thunder, which I always thought he was really cool too. Really, really heavy hitter when playing. At the same time, costs 4 Thunderbolts. Oof. Or Thunder Energies, I should say, to do the Thunderbolt. And then I never actually obtained a Moltres kind of like Zapdos, one of the originals. I've always just had the Team Rocket Moltres. But I still thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's holographic, cool looking, stuff like that. We have Dratini, just a dragon. Then Dragonair, his evolution, which I always thought looked pretty cool. And then Dark Dragonair. It's the Dragonair that decided to cut class, hang out with his friends, smoke some weed, and then evolved ultimately into Dragonite. Kind of, he's just like, oh. Inside, he always looked kind of funny, but his holographic form has always looked really cool to me. And then now we're going on to this badass, Mewtwo. So this is the one you get with the actually seeing the first movie in theaters. You get this Mewtwo, and then when you actually purchased the movie on VHS, you got this Mewtwo. Ultimately, the attacks are exactly the same, but just different looking. This one always just looked kind of weird to me. Maybe it's just me, but I've always preferred this one. He just looks more menacing and confident. And then that leads us to number 151, one of my most favorite cards. I try to take as good care of it as I can, but this is Mew. This is Japanese, and this is in the Fossil set. So when you open up a pack, you actually had a chance to get Mew. It was very rare. And again, my dad was really awesome when growing up, because he actually got this for me as a gift too. So I didn't actually obtain this on my own, but nonetheless, I still cherish it very much. It's one of my favorites. But I also have, not on me, it's in the Springs, Ancient Mew, which you also got from seeing the first movie, which is pretty much the same exact card, but it's all ancientized. And I'll post up a picture of it on my Facebook for you. Next time I'm down in the Springs, I'll get it. But also for Toys R Us, just one day, this same exact Mew, but it was a promo, but it was in English and it was still holographic. And I managed to get like 5 of those suckers. So those are all in the Springs too. But I always thought this was great because this is like a legit in the pack. You have a chance of getting it every time you got a fossil pack Mew. So thank you very much for that, Dad. Now this next thing, because this is 151, but the next ones are cards that are really unique, even for Pokemon. This one's just, it's holographic on the sides, but ultimately it's a sticker. I always decided to keep it anyway because it looked all pizzazzy, but it's just a Dodrio. This next one though, super rare when it first came out and super controversial too, is a dark Raichu. Anything that's dark pretty much means that it's in the possession of Team Rocket. And if you remember the TV show, Team Rocket has always tried to catch Pikachu, but they never could. But apparently in this timeline, they actually were able to, or they may have just gotten a Raichu, and they turned him into that, Dark Raichu. Now something that's always been pretty big too, I'll just grab another Pokemon here. Every set that is released always has a set number of Pokemon cards. So when this focuses, on the bottom of this card, I'm just waiting for it to focus. On the bottom here, it's number 10, or I'm sorry, number 18 out of 102. So there are 102 cards in the set that this came from, but this is number 18 of those cards. And then other ones had maybe like 70 some odd cards, 100 some odd cards. Team Rocket, the Rocket Pack, had 82 cards. Then when we look at Dark Raichu's number, he is number 83 of 82. So he definitely broke that, which I always thought was really cool. And I got this one from Jordan. I forgot what I traded you for this, but I still think this is definitely one of my favorite cards, so thank you, dude. And then Eevee, again, it's the same one as before, but I had another one, so I put it back here. Now this one was a special pack that you could get. My dad got it for my sister Lauren and I. And it also came with Togepi, Charizard, Pidgeot is right here, but this one is of Mew, and you can see it's a reverse holographic, but this is like a legit card. It's just one of those, like, it was a specially made special edition, but his attack doesn't even do anything, but he looks all like cute and stuff, so I always really liked it. Now this one is interesting. I got this one when I actually opened up a Japanese pack, and I got this instead of a rare. Now the top is blank Chansey. This is I'm supposed to write my name, so this is supposed to be Brandon's Chansey. So you can see in here it's a brand new hatched Chansey, even though it's already pregnant. So what does that say about our society and economy? No, but it's a baby Chansey, and instead of a circle for common, diamond for uncommon, star for rare, this has a we can get it to focus. This has a white diamond. I don't really know what that means. It's probably nothing big, but nonetheless, I got this instead of a rare. I always thought it was really cool too. Now I've seen it before as an American card, but I always like to remember that time when I got that. I felt like I became a father. And then this is Jigglypuff. This is from the Heart Gold, Soul Silver. This is when they made reverse holographics, kind of like Mew, a little bit more common. And the thing is, this is still a common. So holographs nowadays have lost their exclusivity, I guess is the right word for it. They lost their oomph. But as I mentioned before, I have another Pikachu. Again, this was from Toys R Us. I had a special promotion with these. Again, like the Chansey, I can write up top Brandon's Pikachu. A lot of people will just remember this mostly as birthday Pikachu, because on the bottom you're supposed to write down your birth date. And this was just a promotion. This is a holographic Pikachu. I always thought it was really cool, and I remember getting super excited about actually getting it. Then after that is just it's a holographic Magnemite. I have the English version here, but this one is holographic. This one is not though, but I remember just getting this. This is really cool because this is actually from the second series, the second generation, because that's when they introduced Steel as an element. But still, I mean, this is always pretty cool to me, and I don't know why I really put it in here, but got that. The only other thing in my collection is these. It's really hard for me to actually come up with a trainer, Giovanni. They're Pokemon, all three of them. So Giovanni's Machop, and then Machoke, even though this one's Japanese, and then this one's Japanese as well. Machamp, and it's holographic as well, but sure you can see it now. Even then, this video's gone on way longer than I thought. But if you made it this far, that's awesome. Really, I'm just yammering and talking, really. But yeah, this is my Pokemon collection and my awesome thing. On the back, I have some more packets. This is the one that everybody's most familiar with, because this is the regular English from the first gen, first gen, but first edition of cards and KB Toys. Does anybody remember that? No? Okay, well, anywho, I got that. And the rest of it on this side is Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I got super excited when they re-released these, because it was pretty much just a re-release of all of our favorite cards, except they looked more dynamic, and it was a mixture of the first gen and second gen Pokemon set. I put them in here too, even though technically they should be in my second gen binder. And yeah, I mean that's my Pokemon card collection. I have another binder full of my second gen, which I plan on doing another video probably next week, because who doesn't like a guy behind a camera talking about his Pokemon like he's a little kid? But anyway, that's my thing. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.